So I'm delighted to say that our organ refurb has now finished. And so the organ here at S.Alban's Holborn has been cleaned, restored, and is sounding magnificent. I just thought I'd do a follow-up video. As I mentioned in the previous one, we didn't really make any changes. We added a super octave on the pedal, but that's just a matter of 12 pipes. The biggest changes are in the 32-foot department that we have. You might remember from the previous video I showed you the polyphone in the pedal chamber over there, but it has now been moved, and I'll show you that in a minute, and you will hear it as well. But we've also added a Harmonics of 32. We called it a bass cornet, but a Compton style thing that will simulate a 32-foot reed. So I'll also give a little explanation about that and how that works and what it does, and again you'll be able to hear it. So this is the polyphone. It used to live in the pedal chamber over there, but now it's been moved and placed up in the gallery floor here, and it's also been restored, and it really does make a difference. Before it was pretty inaudible, but now it really does rattle around the place. It's fantastic. So you can see it's in sort of two layers. It's essentially a conventional organ pipe, as you can probably tell. Here's the mouth here, but the lower level is essentially the B of a sub bourdon in the 32-foot octave. So that's what the lower half is. So if I play a B on the pedal board, that's what will come out. But you'll see on the top we have this other block here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chambers. And inside, what would happen if I played A sharp, this chamber would open and would therefore lengthen the pipe to produce the lower pitch. If I played A, these two would open. If I played G sharp, these three would open, etc., etc., etc. So when they're all open, it would play a bottom E. So it doesn't go down further than E, so it doesn't go down all the way down to C, as you might expect. But if it did, the pipe would have to be enormous. And also, I think the thinking is that the human ear really struggles to differentiate between pitches at such a low frequency. I mean, the E, the lowest note is the E off the bottom of a piano, so it's a very, very low note indeed. But we'll hear it in a second. So now that you've seen the polyphone, let's hear it. So as I say, it's the sub bass here. So the sub bass, so Compton extends the bourdon, so this is the conventional bourdon rank, but so the bottom octave. So here's the B, so this is the highest note it plays. Pretty beefy. One of the windows is rattling a bit there. So there's B flat, A, and it's going down, and so E, that's the lowest note it plays. You probably need good speakers to hear that, but it is rumbling away very nicely. So I can play some nice music on the strings, the swell strings, play it underneath. Or it's powerful enough that if you're playing hymns or something, you can have it going on and you still hear it. Much more effective than it used to be. Before it was little more than a draft, but you can hear it. It's really, it's there underneath it all. So as well as moving and improving the polyphone, we've also added, we've called his bass cornet 32. John Compton often added these stops. You'll see on some of his larger organs something called bass cornet or a harmonics stop with lots of ranks on it. Let's talk about the harmonics first to understand what this stop aims to do. Every musical note will produce harmonics, and these are sometimes called overtones. And so every musical note will produce them, and they occur in a set pattern. And what that pattern is, so if I were to play bottom C, that would be called the first harmonic, also known as the fundamental. So if I played that, the next harmonic over the top would be exactly half that. So it's an octave above. So that's the second harmonic, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, the eighth, and the ninth, and so it goes on. So every musical note will produce those harmonics in that order. Now, the human ear is not aware of them, because you could imagine if you heard a chord, it would be an absolute cacophony. The only way the human ear is aware of these harmonics is the tone quality of various things. So, for example, if I played middle C there, but I played it on this stop, or I played it on this stop, you see they all sound very different, even though they're playing the same pitch. That's because the harmonic profile they're producing is different. And this is where the art of the organ builder, the shape and scaling of pipes, really does influence the sound, because it influences the harmonic profile that these notes produce. This is why a trumpet sounds different to a clarinet, and a clarinet sounds different to a violin, because they're producing different harmonics. John Compton can't lay claim to understanding the harmonic series. The knowledge of that goes back way before him, and it's no coincidence that this is really how organs work. They work on adding the harmonics to the fundamental. If I just played lots of eight foots, it's not an unpleasant sound, but it's no coincidence when you look at organs how they're built up. So we have that, the next one, pitch up, fine. Next harmonic up, the octave above, then you sometimes have the fifth, third harmonic, and then the next one. So then we have. So again, the art of the organ builder means we can mesh these together. The ear tolerates all these things coming together, and we have a much more brilliant, vibrant sound that will fill a building much happier. So we come to this stop. Now, we've seen how John Compton was a great innovator and a great space saver and a great cost reducer. So 32-foot reeds are really, they're these sort of superbly thunderous reed stops that you hear on big organs that really do roar away underneath. They're very, very exciting. But they might not sound like the most musical notes in the world when you hear them on their own, but they do produce harmonics. So John Compton sort of created like an aural illusion, whereas, so if you played the harmonics that a 32-foot reed would generate if it was there, you can trick the ear into thinking there is one without having to find the space and the money to pay for one. So the harmonics of a 32-foot, I just do this. So we'll imagine the 32-foot note is playing, it's not there, but the first harmonic would be this note, and then the next one would be that note, and then this one, like that. So those are the harmonics that a 32-foot reed would generate. So what this stop aims to do is trick you into thinking we've got a 32-foot reed when actually we don't. So what it will do, so the harmonics, it will kind of miss out the octaves, because I think it's assumed that you would play another pedal stop to fill those in. But it will play the G, that third, so it plays the second harmonic, the third harmonic, the fifth harmonic, the seventh harmonic, and the ninth harmonic. So that chord, so a C, a G, an E, a B flat, and a D, that's playing bottom. C, of course. So the problem with stops like these is when you get to the top of the pedal board, the ear is far more aware of the trick So we've solved that problem by making it a compound stop. So we go as far as we've got pipes, and it's only the bottom octave that plays the harmonics. Now, what we've also done here, which I believe, I'm open to correction, is unique. We actually have it available at 3 different strengths. So we have 3 16-foot reeds on the pedal here. So the first one is the contrabasana, and this is borrowed from the swell, it's in the swell box. So if I put it on setting 1 and play it, you'll see, so this is the top of it. So it'll go down as far as we've got pipes there. That's as far as we've got a pipe for the 16-foot. So then we've run out of pipes, so this is where we need the harmonic. So if I play the B, you'll hear it sounds very bizarre. It'll play this funny chord. Like that. So it sounds bizarre on its own, I'll admit, but we'll hear it with everything else in a minute. So that's version 1. Version 2 goes with the trombone. Now the trombone is borrowed from the great 16-foot reed, so it does the same thing, etc. Played down to there, as far as we've got pipes. And then it's the same harmonics, but a slightly stronger version. So, bring on top. There we go. There we go. Slightly stronger version. Now, and we've got the third setting of it, special occasions only, which goes with the ophiclide, which is the strongest pedal 16-foot reed here. It's the tuba carried down an octave, so it's pretty beefy. And again, so this stop will play as ophiclide, pretty rough and ready, as far as we've got pipes, but then the harmonics will take over at B. Now, not a particularly musical sound on its own, but let's hear it in context. So we'll put it back to setting number 1. Now, I've found that setting number 1 sits very nicely under sort of Baroque things. So here's a bit of Buxtehude, just a little snippet, without it, and then with, so you can hear the difference. So this is without. So let's hear setting 2 now, so a bit beefier. So again, we'll try it with and without. So we'll start without. This is a little bit of long lay for you. And see what it sounds like. Again, pretty thunderous. Now let's try the third setting. So again, we'll try it without. So this is a little bit of Dubois. So that's without. Now we're going to add it now. pretty resounding, pretty thunderous, and pretty exciting. I hope my microphone hasn't been obliterated by that. It's quite some noise here. But there you go, our new 32 foots in all their glory.